Do you ever feel like you could be more productive at home? Many of us have side projects or full-time gigs where we're working at home, and trying to be productive at home can be challenging. Hi, I'm Scott. I founded penandjournal.com. I help people use journaling to increase their focus, their productivity, and their mindfulness. And today, I want to share with you a productivity system that I've been working on and improving over the last few months. This system started out fairly complex, using all sorts of agile principles and values. And as I've used it, I've whittled it down further and further and further to try to make it more simple and more successful. And at this point, I think I've got a pretty good grip on it. I've got it down to 3 steps, and it's worth checking them out. I haven't named the system yet, but I've got some good candidates. I thought I might name it the 3-step system to kicking butt and taking names, or the 3-step method to crushing it at home. But none of those seem to really fit, so let's just call it the pen and journal productivity method. Okay, let's get started. But first, before we cover the 3 steps, let's talk about the why. It's always important to evaluate, why do we do things? It's very agile to do this, and I'm going to encourage you to be agile in your personal productivity system too. So what I've experienced with getting things done at home is that you have to manage distractions, different distractions than you do in the workplace. You've got dogs, you've got kids, possibly, you've got dishwashers and laundries, you've got all sorts of things. You've got the mailman knocking on the front door, dropping off packages, needing signatures. There's all sorts of things that distract you at home. So we need to have a system that manages distractions, because every distraction chips away at your willpower and your motivation. So you can't really count on your willpower and motivation, and let me show you why. If you do not know this already, willpower is like a gas tank. The more you use it, the more it empties. So here's empty, there's full, here's empty, here's your halfway mark. So in the morning, you've got lots, and that's probably why our morning routines are like pure epic. Like, get your morning done, and make it, get the most done. And that's because your willpower is probably the very highest. As you go through the day and you use your willpower to make good choices at breakfast, your willpower kind of goes down a little bit. It starts to empty. As you go through lunch, you start making some decisions there. Your willpower may actually drop a little more. By nighttime, you've probably all experienced this. When it's time to turn on Netflix, your willpower is at its lowest, and so you'll kind of not work at night like you had hoped for. And this makes for an unhappy man, because you're on empty. If you change the way you work and you find that your willpower drops like this, you're even in a worse situation, because you're hitting that low point even earlier in the day. What ends up happening is that if you have a good morning routine, you'll find that your willpower kind of goes like this, which means that you've got more willpower in the end of the day. But either way, your willpower will tank out at the end of the day. So we can't count on willpower to get stuff done. This productivity system has to work around this problem. Before we go on any further, if you enjoy this video or these types of videos, could you press the like button? I would appreciate it. Also, if you could subscribe, that'd be excellent. And I have ways for you to connect with me on Instagram and a Facebook group. Those links are in the description. Secondly, there's research that has found that motivation is linked to success through dopamine. Yay, dopamine! It's like Red Bull, of natural Red Bull or cosmic monster or something. It's an amazing chemical in your body. So this ends up being like a flywheel, and all 3 of these things are kind of are connected. The thing is that the flywheel isn't moving until you kickstart it. And so how do you kickstart it? If each one of these things are interconnected, you have to have some outside force. And that outside force is action. So that action to send that flywheel in motion is how you get going on. And once you get the flywheel moving, then you can have success, which gives you dopamine, which then you become more motivated to have more success. And then dopamine, motivation, success. So that is how our bodies work. So this 3-step process tries to take advantage of this cycle, this flywheel of productivity. So let's talk about action. I use a timer, kind of like the Pomodoro method, where you set a timer for 25 minutes and you work with laser sharp focus and you sprint as fast as you can to get things done, managing distractions to the best of your ability. Essentially what you're trying to do is spin that flywheel. Step 1. First, you make a checklist. You essentially plan. You make it worth about 25 minutes worth of work. Then you set a timer for 25 minutes. For that 25 minutes, you laser focus on everything that you need to get done. Anytime you're interrupted, you call that a distraction. And you write it down. Write down each one of your distractions and why they happened. At the end of your 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break. This is called a planned break. Very important to do a planned break. So then you've got 30 minutes of solid, concentrated work. And this is probably enough time for you to get a good chunk of work done. Step 2 of this system uses time boxing. Time boxing is a way of reducing the amount of wasted time. Based on Parkinson's law, there's an adage that says that a task will take as long as you give it to complete. So if you have a 1-hour task and you say, I'm going to give myself a 3-hour block to finish that 1-hour task, chances are it will take you 3 hours to finish that 1-hour task. This is something that I've experienced in my own projects, as well as my projects at work, as well as, research shows since the 1950s when Parkinson's law was founded, this has been true. So just remember, every time you give yourself more time than you need to finish a task, chances are you're going to use all the time available. Step 2, time boxing. It's a very important part of this. Normally I would do this on an electronic calendar, but I'll do it on paper just to show you what I mean. This is 4 a.m., this is 8 p.m., and here are all your half-hour segments throughout the day. What you need to do to time box is to dedicate certain parts of your day just for working. Let's say if you have a lunch break here, no problem. If you've got an afternoon meeting here, no problem. But you want to make sure that you got 30-minute segments in your day that are just for that focused working. And on your calendar, when the time comes for that particular time box, you have to be focused. You have to tell yourself, I'm blocking off this time for a concerted sprint. And always make one last sprint or one last time box of the day. And that's for step 3. Step 3 in this system is a retrospective. You've guessed it. As you've seen in my other videos, I'll link one up here in the cards, I really do value a time to reflect over what's happened over the last work sprint, whether it be a week or a day. In this situation, it would be just a day, and you want to reflect over what's going on. And I have 4 things that you can use, 4 new questions that you can ask yourself. You can ask yourself what you liked, and write that down, record it for next time, what you've learned. So write that down if you learn anything new about the system that you're using, anything you've learned about time management, what you've lacked, something that you just had missing. Maybe you were missing a timer, maybe you were missing the right resources, whatever it was that kept you from being successful with this system. And then what you've longed for. So something that you long to have, something that you need to change and that you would like to have more of. So write down what you've liked, what you've learned, what you've lacked, and what you've longed for. It's the 4L method. I've got a lot of these, so I never get tired of talking about retrospectives. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you next time.